Hello.
Hello.
So, welcome to our ethical discussion. This is part of our partnership between iGEM Lund
And iGEM GO Paris-Saclay.
Exactly. So, before we arrived here in Amsterdam, we have been recording a video. Each team has been recording a video where we discuss the ethical aspects of our projects. And now, after months of working with this, we finally meet here in Amsterdam, and we're gonna wrap everything together and discuss the videos that we made and further discuss the ethical aspects. So yeah, let's continue with the video. Thank you so much for your video. We really enjoyed watching it.
Thanks.
We think you have chosen a really important issue. So we're happy to learn more about this.
Yeah, and in your video you mentioned that 1 out of 10 women have endometriosis, and you also conducted a survey where you found that quite few of the respondents actually know what endometriosis is. So our questions are, why do you think it is so? And what can we do to enlighten and reach out to the population?
Yeah, like all around the world, like a lot of inequalities due to the access of health, in particular for women. If you take the example of a rural area, let's take the example of India, for instance, there are like a big taboo and lack of cognition about, for instance, like menstruation. So if the taboo word is menstruation, what do you think it would be for the word endometriosis? Like a little bit hard for them to deal with this problem. So to make the situation better, we thought about like making more sensibilization to this population. So it could have a big impact on the society, but also on the doctors' skills, so that they could be able to know more about the symptoms and to provide better diagnosis to patients, and then further in the future provide better treatments.
Yeah, sometimes doctors are not well trained.
In particular in rural areas.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the access of the health, and that's why it's so difficult to reach out to those populations.
It's a matter of education.
And culture.
And culture.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Good. So here we are, arrived in Vondelpark in Amsterdam. So what do you think? Should we continue our discussion?
Alzheimer is a major public health issue, and especially since treatments are still missing. You presenting this topic very well in synthetic biology context.
And we were wondering, how could you convince people to use those probiotics, since there is no symptoms or no signals that might help you to say, oh, there is some sort of starting of Alzheimer.
Yeah, so we have been thinking about this question, and we think that our first target group for this should be people that have Alzheimer's running in their family, since the risk of getting the disease is higher. So this probiotic could be a good prevention or preventative for this. We can start there. And then,
absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, our probiotic is something that people will search for. And then we've also thought about the possibility of perhaps cooperating with DNA testing companies. So people will send their saliva, their DNA somewhere, get it analyzed, and they will get results, and the results might say you have a higher chance of getting Alzheimer's. So, and that's where we come in.
Yes, and also our probiotic should be safe for everyone to use. So even though if you don't know if you're in a risk group or not, since everyone can actually be affected, then this should be a good way to at least hopefully reduce the risk of developing the disease.
Yeah, and it should be safe for everyone, regardless if you have like the DNA or Alzheimer's or not.
But of course, our product has to be like safely and thoroughly tested before anyone can use it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Now we're standing in front of Rijksmuseum here in Amsterdam. Let's do another question. So in your video you mentioned several ethical dilemmas regarding screening women for endometriosis. For example, asymptomatic women getting their diagnosis, which could be a stress factor for them.
So after working with your project for such a long time, what is your opinion about screening such a large fraction of the female population? Will the good outweigh the bad?
That's a good question. Following our numerous exchanges with professionals involved in this project, many points of view have been received. And the main advantage of allowing these women to be diagnosed or not early is undeniable. The feeling of incomprehension, frustration, of not being taken care of by their family and professionals, and that could impact them morally and physically in work, daily life, or personal development. And therefore, for these women, the development of such tools would prevent them from suffering the gaze of the society on her, which is really hard to live with.
Nevertheless, distributing this test to women can impact their life, their senses of priorities. So we think that we need to include follow measures and appropriate support to these women, just to determine. We need to include develop follow-up measures and appropriate support at this women to help us, help them to help them to we need to
building a support system.
Yes, a support system for this woman, like a psychological measure, something like that. And for other women that are not this disease, endometriosis, but have symptoms or something else, we need to continue to help them to determine cause of this malaise.
So we are back for the last question to conclude our discussion. So I wanted to ask, since Alzheimer is a multi-phase disease, how can you prevent someone from taking those probiotics for years and still getting the disease?
The short answer is we cannot promise that. We're hoping to engineer a probiotic to decrease the plaque buildup in the brain, which is caused by curling in the gut. And obviously, I mean, as you said, Alzheimer's is such a disease that, you know, we don't exactly know what's causing it. It could be many different variations. So yeah, this is just a little puzzle piece in the quest to actually end Alzheimer's.
Yeah, so we cannot say that this is the only way to cure Alzheimer's and this is the only way that Alzheimer's occurs, because it's not. There's several other ways, but with this we're hoping to at least be part of the research and actually being able to prevent or at least reduce the risk of getting Alzheimer's.
Okay.
But of course more research has to be done, both with our project and other future potential projects.
Yeah, we're hoping to contribute at least something to the science.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, now it's time to conclude our video, and today we have learned that education is extremely important, and one thing that Lund can conclude is that research is always needed, and it's something that we always should strive for.
And we learned that today communicating about science is very important. It's about to explain to people what science is and what science does. So, bye-bye!
Bye-bye!
Bye bye!